What's going on, Gaggles and Haymans? As always, I'm Pat McDermott. Welcome to episode 61 of the Club Kayfabe podcast. With me today, we have Dan Peck.
Behind every cloud is another cloud.
Wow, that's deep. And we have Chris O'Mealy.
Sup?
Not much. So we had a pay-per-view. We had Crossfire, right? That's the name of this pay-per-view? You caught up in the Crossfire?
If that was the theme song to this pay-per-view, it would have been the best pay-per-view of the year.
If it was the name pay-per-view, it would be the best pay-per-view.
If that was Roman Reigns' theme, I would like him. Because guess what? Spoilers, I don't. So the pay-per-view started out with two pre-show matches, actually.
Two pre-show matches.
One announced like 5 minutes before the show started.
So you got two for the price of none. And we had Fandango versus Adam Rose in the we were supposed to be Intercontinental title match, but we're not match.
Because 22 doesn't sound right for a Battle Royal.
So, whoops, LOL, you get put in this match, and pretty quick match. Adam Rose wins, and there you go.
The girls were part of the Rosebud,
The Rose Gaggle.
the Exotic Express, and that was pretty much it. That was your whole storyline for that match.
Oh, and then the next match was rival school's own Cameron versus Naomi, who is the surviving member of Brodus Clay's theme club. It has now been through Brodus Clay, the Funkadactyls, Xavier Woods. Naomi is the last woman standing.
And Ernest the Cat Miller.
Oh wait, and Tensai came out to it too, technically. So,
Yep.
Yes, and Ernest Miller.
10 years ago.
I always forget that.
Yeah, it's not.
I always
easy to
forget
remember.
Ernest the Cat Miller. So there was an actual show after these two pre-show matches, and
The theme of the pay-per-view was really good wrestling, questionable finishes.
Oh, Cameron won, by the way.
oh, I didn't even say that. Wow. Yeah, where she used her rival schoolgirl.
Somebody said that she dressed like a schoolgirl so she could remember what her finisher was.
Lol. Pretty true.
What's my finisher?
And she's like poor woman's Tyler Breeze right now, because he comes out with the camera, but she just comes out with a little makeup thing to look at herself.
Yeah.
Get with the times, girl.
Bye.
So, on to the first match of the pay-per-view, WWE Tag Team Championship match, where the Wyatt family finally overcomes the Usos in one fall. But not the two that follow.
Yeah. Usos win. Really good match. Okay, so part of me says this should have been the time to put the belt on the Wyatts, but I also heard somebody make a good point that said, just because you have a bunch of good tag teams in your division doesn't mean that they all have to be tag team champion at the same time.
No, but I feel like the Wyatts have gone for it twice now. If they're to go for it again and not get them, then it kind of makes them look like they just can't pull off that win against the Usos, which, I mean...
Right. But then again, remember when the Usos were feuding for the belts? I don't even remember who they were facing, but they couldn't get the job done.
Yeah.
So...
And then they finally beat the New Age Outlaws.
yeah, they got the job done against them.
Against a couple 50-year-olds, yeah.
But they finally have this tag team division, and I don't know, I feel like now's the time to kind of switch those belts around, because I feel the more, not that every team has to have them, but I feel like the more teams that have them and the more they kind of trade back and forth, even every few months, the better those tag teams all look.
They've had it for like 5 months now.
Right, they're like the Invincible Usos. Like, we were talking about before the show, like, what if the Ascension, who's run roughshod on everyone on NXT, just comes up and loses to the Usos?
Right, right.
Guys who would be like an LOD-style tag team for this generation will just come up and, oh, 1, 2, so, you're done.
They lose those.
They lose those. So 2 so out of 3 falls, Usos win.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with the Usos having a nice long title reign, but they're gonna have to start mixing it up and facing different tag teams every month.
I
Otherwise,
don't think I mentioned this on the show. I forget if I did. Are we going to officially, at least on this show, call Luke Harper's powerbomb the Pearl Harper? That is a nasty powerbomb.
all right, go ahead.
All right, so it's officially the Pearl Harper.
By God, that was a Pearl Harbor job.
Hey, remember that Seth Rollins Dean Ambrose match we were all looking forward to?
I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Fish and chips and Mary Poppins.
It's like the only good thing about Barrett being out with an injury right now is we don't have to hear Triple H's impression of him.
Chimney sweep. Either.
Yeah, so
Zed.
Rollins is all happy. Ambrose attacks him, and then Triple H throws Ambrose out of the building because we don't need another match on this pay-per-view.
The first one already took a half hour.
But this whole Ambrose thing, though, it actually just worked to get the crowd more behind him. Unless you follow Twitter and they're like, we paid for this match $60. No. You paid $9.99 a month.
$60, you get whatever you get.
Yeah, if you're an idiot still buying full-price pay-per-views, then you're probably an idiot still buying full-price pay-per-views.
Yep.
But if you paid your $10 for this month, don't forget about the archive, the wealth of wrestling backlog that you get to look through. So,
I only watch the brand extension pay-per-views.
do you know you paid 33 cents probably for this pay-per-view? If you think about day by day, you probably paid 33 cents, and that's only 3 hours of the day.
You know, day by day, I got that pay-per-view for free then.
Exactly.
You're right.
So, we also had AJ versus Paige. And this leads to the finish that everyone was expecting. Really good match again. AJ wins with a beautiful-looking Shining Wizard and sets up for what happens on Raw the next night. And there we go. Oi me twat, indeed. Oh, then we get my favorite segment on the pay-per-view. Randy Orton walking into the red light district to find Kane.
I love that. Kane, I know you're back here. Well, of course. The place is glowing red.
I like how he's like yelling for Kane, but he's not yelling for Kane.
He's whisper yelling. He's voices in his heading.
Kane, I know you're back here.
Kane, come on, man. He'll whisper.
Where were you?
He whispers his name, but then he yells like, "Come on, Kane! Come on, man, Kane!"
So Kane jumps up
Whisper my
behind him,
name.
and he's like, Randy,
Hi.
you don't want to be here.
And Randy Orton, I love Randy Orton promos right now because he says something and then he says that same something in a different way. He's like, we need to work together tonight. Tonight, we need to work together. That's the Randy Orton promo now.
We got to be on the same page, on the same page.
On the same page, yeah. Yoda Orton.
Remember, you were here to help me, so help me.
Help me because you are here too.
Fear is the path to the dark side.
The dark side is the path to fear.
We're talking about Randy Orton way more than I want to.
Oh, this segment was great, though. This was so wrestle crappy. Kane, I know I came down to your abode shirtless
Hey,
and
you know
pantless.
call his name like 5 times before he showed up?
Because he forgot it?
Because that's not his name. He's Demon.
Oh, that's right. Oh, see, I thought you were going with the Glenn route, but you went the other way. Kane, Demon Kane. Yes. So, following that, we get Rusev Crush with Lana versus Jack Swagger and his hand on his t-shirt with Zeb Coulter.
Good match.
Really good match, and a match with a guy like Jack Swagger where I really say he hasn't impressed me in a long time. It did a great job in this match. Really, I thought this was a good finish to this match, though. This is one finish I won't really disagree with too much. Although...
It had to happen that way because we have to see vulnerability from Rusev's part eventually.
Although I love Joey Image's observation of how he has no shoes, no boots on, and he's in the ankle lock that someone would have tapped in a year ago with boots on,
Yeah,
and he's just fine.
It's his magical wraps that he got from Russia.
Logic.
Russian raps.
Who needs logic in wrestling?
So, this was a victory for Rusev, and because Jack Swagger got knocked out on the outside, he got his head slammed right in the steel steps, and Rusev then, of course, throws him in the ring, puts him in the Accolade, and that's all he does. Same Rusev segment, same Rusev smash, Rusev crush.
And don't forget about Lana's promo that they had to retract, even though she said nothing wrong.
It was retarded. Absolutely overblown.
You guys want the Attitude Era back so bad, but then you can't handle a promo.
You can't handle a promo that talks about things that may or may not be currently going on. You equate it to a real-life issue, and you get butthurt. You do not want the Attitude Era back. Because every time they say something slightly racy, you get all bent out of shape.
Man, it's ridiculous.
I was really surprised there wasn't, like, some ridiculous PG-ish backlash against the fact that Daniel Bryan called Bo a boner last month. I was really surprised.
Boners, those happen in my pants with my pee-pee. I'm offended.
I think the fans really do want PG era, because when they get something not PG, they rebel.
No, this needs to be safe for everyone to enjoy equally. We, the equals.
What's your 4-year-old child doing up at 11 p.m.?
It's 11 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Yeah, they're watching Raw with me, man. Final segment.
Watching Trish bark like a dog. This is ridiculous.
What Trish bark like a dog? Paul Heyman just said he's going to see Bush.
So, Seth Rollins comes out for a no match.
Oh, look. Seth Rollins is the Money in the Back winner.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He is the Money in the Back winner. Slept Rollins, Money in the Back winner. Oops, just slipped Rollins.
Oh, dear.
So Rollins says they should announce him the winner by forfeit. So Justin Roberts says he's the winner by forfeit. And then he waves his briefcase in the air like he just don't care, saying, hey, yo, gotta let go. And Dean Ambrose comes out, attacks Rollins, beats the crap out of him, beats him up, doesn't break his neck, and then he gets arrested, and this is probably one of the coolest moments of the pay-per-view because this felt like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Ambrose. And I think where they're going with this is so good, and I don't think they should change course with Ambrose at all. He's one of the better things they have going right now.
No, he's like the best babyface on Raw.
And then later he plays Oscar the Grouch, hiding in the not the garbage. No, he hides in the trunk. My bad. I thought he was hiding in the garbage.
Which you could clearly see that the trunk was open.
It felt like a Freddy Krueger flick. Like when Seth Rollins is out there and he's like looking around, and I'm just thinking to myself, I can only get you in your dreams, Seth. Nightmare at Battleground. That's why he slept Rollins, because he fell asleep and Freddy Krueger got him.
Oh my goodness, this entire feud is about Seth Rollins falling asleep.
I can't fall asleep. They'll take my money in the back. So Bray Wyatt takes on Chris Jericho, and as predicted, Chris Jericho no, he doesn't lose the match, he wins. And it's awesome.
Out of nowhere with the code Brocker.
Yeah, the code Brocker.
Brocker!
The Plan C, Code Breaker, wins the match.
Well, that's what it should have happened, because it was too predictable Wyatt was going to go over him in their first match.
And never goes over in the first match.
Well, here's the logic of the internet wrestling community or the wrestling fans is Jericho only comes back to lose. I can't believe Jericho didn't put over Bray Wyatt.
Yep.
There's your logic.
You actually echoed Heyman's statement exactly, because he made that exact statement.
Oh, he was surprised that he didn't put over Bray Wyatt, but he was saying that he would lose.
Well, he said beating Jericho doesn't mean anything because all Jericho does is come back to lose. And then when he won, he's like, oh, thank God.
Thank God that I don't believe in.
Thank Zod.
So yeah, now we get to the Nightmare on Elm Street segment. As Seth Rollins is escorted out of the building by Triple H and a security guard, and he thanks them.
I don't need security.
Yep.
Except for I do.
And then he falls asleep, and Dean Ambrose comes out of the dream trunk and attacks him some more. And my pay-per-view shut off here, but did he leave his briefcase?
He left his gear. He left, like, everything. He just took off in the car. No, sorry. He was in his gear. He left his regular clothes in his bag there.
So SummerSlam rematch for the briefcase is what I'm guessing.
Yeah. In a ladder match.
So then we get the Intercontinental Championship Battle Royale.
Which was a good battle royal.
10 minutes later, everyone's finally in the ring.
Yeah, it takes about 10 minutes. What was Sandow? He was Gilligan? Was that this one?
They said he was Gilligan, but I think
he wasn't?
supposed to be some guy, like old man on a beach.
He was just a tourist. A Florida tourist.
He's just a terrorist. I mean, a tourist.
So, in the very beginning, we see Miz, shown way too much on camera, crawling under the ring, under the bottom rope.
Yeah.
And we then are able to telegraph the finish.
That was my only problem with the Battle Royal as a whole. I don't care that The Miz won it, because he really needed this win to become relevant again. But they screwed it up by showing him outside the ring too often and announcing it too often.
Oh, and I should mention before we really talk too much more about the match, Wade Barrett looked fucking pissed.
Yeah.
It was like, again? Much. I was getting a push again? And my shoulder? Again? God damn, guy.
Thanks, Swagger.
Classic swags.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news for myself. I'm injury prone.
I hope that doesn't cool them off on pushing him when he comes back, though.
Yeah, well, it's like the third time.
Yeah, only people like Randy Orton get those strikes. Where they can just keep going and going and going. So, big surprise in this Battle Royal. Heath Slater has his battleground moment as he eliminates Cesaro, and the world is shocked.
That was actually pretty cool.
It was really funny. And we also got Big Kofi Langston transforming, Voltroning, to keep Kofi in this time. Alberto Del Rio was in there forever and a day, and everyone knew he wouldn't win.
Nope.
And it came down to Miz underneath the ring, Dolph Ziggler, and Sheamus. And Ziggler actually eliminated Sheamus, which is a really cool moment. The crowd was so incredibly behind him. And actually, this finish, although a lot of people complain, it actually did a lot for Ziggler, too. Because now he's in this Intercontinental title spot. It's not like this world heavyweight title Intercontinental spot that was so, like, full and congested. Like, now we have the ability for this to really be the secondary title, and for somebody like Dolph Ziggler to be important because he wants that title.
But The Miz wins, and Ziggler is fucking buried.
Yeah. Ugh, he's so buried.
He's so buried he wears a pink shirt because he's just getting pelted with berries.
That's right.
So The Miz wins, and the internet thinks it's the end of the world.
Yeah, except that was the finish that should have happened, so the internet can suck it.
I mean, I could have seen a bunch of different finishes in this, but...
Yeah, but there's going to be a lucrative feud now with Miz and Ziggler, and it's going to be good.
Right. So where they're going with it is fine.
We'll get to that when we get to SmackDown.
So let's talk about the lame event. I mean, the main event.
LOL Cena wins. That was your main event.
Cena takes on a bunch of other guys who are older and a guy who is really young and green.
It wasn't a great main event.
It was a match that happened, and John Cena won, and Roman Reigns didn't, and he looked all sad after the match, and they had a 5-minute post-show afterwards.
Oh yeah, the 5-minute post-show.
Let's interview John Cena about what he thought. Well, I thought that was a good match. And Roman Reigns looks agitated at ringside, and let's talk to the Usos. Oh, we won a match. Yes, you did. That was your post-show.
It was terrible.
Oh man, them Usos, man, they're all jacked up. I'm like, yeah, their match was 3 hours ago. They're so full of energy. I don't know why. They had a half-hour match.
I don't know why, with all this catering here to replenish that energy that they lost in the match. But that's they right. They can sit down at catering. They work here. So that was your
Battleground.
That was your pay-per-vuzz. It was okay.
Pay-per-view. Of all the pay-per-views we've gotten since we got the network, this was by far the weakest, but it wasn't a bad pay-per-view.
Inferior.
Yes, compared to the other 4, yeah.
Vastly inferior. So, on Raw the next night, Triple H came out and he said he's mad that John Cena won last night, but he has options to handle it. And he said he's all right with it, and then John Cena's like, that's not what somebody looks like who's all right with it. And talks about Randy Orton, and Randy Orton says, hey, why are you doing this? Why is it what you are doing? And he said he wants a rematch and he deserves it, and Triple H says, I don't know, maybe, Kay.
Maybe Kay.
Oh, excuse me. I don't know, maybe, Kay. And then he says the whole roster will get the chance to impress him. And who's going to impress him most? Well, to start off the show, Roman Reigns is going to take on Kane and Randy Orton in a handicap match.
Oh, is that what we're calling it now?
Well, that's what I called it. Because Roman Reigns took on Kane and Randy Orton in a match I could care less about, and Roman Reigns wins because he overcomes the odds. Haha, John Cena too.
Oh, God. Haha. I wanted to just point something out on Raw when they started. How it just seemed kind of stupidly obvious that we were going to get the Lesnar return, but I feel like they didn't even attempt to hide it. Like, at least sometimes they script it so they're, like, could potentially tease something different. But I feel like this point they were just like, screw it, they all know what's going to happen.
Oh, you mean like how they
Let's
had
just be vague.
They had a ridiculous promo to run on Main Event the next night of like this long feuded rivalry. They're like,
much,
it's the intense rivalry of the summer. We just found out about this match last night. Nothing has happened in it yet.
Well, according to Alex Riley, nobody saw this coming.
Yeah. Well, he's a dumbass. So what happened next?
Everyone has seen it coming since WrestleMania.
Next we got Nikki Bella in a 4-on-1 handicap match that Hulu actually got.
Wait,
yeah, you actually got that?
Wasn't that last week, or the week before, or the week before?
No, last week she was a referee. Totally different.
Oh.
So, the important part of this is not the 4 women she's facing, because they really don't matter. It's that Brie... And this one Mark, like, goes crazy when he sees her.
It's the hot sister. I mean, not the not hot sister.
No, the other one's the hot sister. The one with the big boobs.
Ugh.
Big
Brie Bella. Ugh. So, Brie Bella is in the crowd, and Stephanie McMahon comes out and mocks Brie for quitting and for her husband. And she says Daniel Bryan was stripped of the title, so Brie's decision was for nothing. Well, true.
True.
She gets...
Well, no, at the time, it was a good move.
It was, but it backfired. Bum, bum, bum. So, Brie calls Stephanie a bitch, because Brie, apparently, her catchphrase is, you're a bitch now. Because I think she said...
Hey, she bought her ticket. She bought her ticket. She can say whatever she wants.
Bitch!
Yes. I want Brie Bella shirts that say that. Just
make sure you scream bitch.
yeah, bitch has to be on the back of the t-shirt in all caps exclamation point McGillicuddy's.
And on the front, it just like says in very small font.
Yeah, no, it's only across the chest in the front. Just like real small font. And in the back is just, bitch! So Stefani gets angry, and she hits Brie, and then Brie is kicked out of the arena.
But she bought her ticket.
She did buy her ticket. She paid her ticket, but that didn't. But it doesn't matter. So
Say whatever she wants to say, according to the champ.
So they're gonna brutalize Nikki Bella. Ready? Alicia Fox hits her finish, and they pin Brie Bella or Nikki Bella right away. They're gonna annihilate her. One move, pin, done.
Yeah, it's really not an annihilation.
So I didn't get my inspirational hero Bo Dallas versus Damian Sandow.
No, you did not. But Sandow came out dressed like LeBron. Everybody booed because they were in Miami, and that's when the internet was like, so is Bo Dallas babyface now? But whatever. Bo Dog, win. Something in Bo. I don't even know what he's up to now.
In the next segment, which
He
was...
lost the Battle Royal. He's a loser.
Chris Jericho gets attacked on the app, so nobody sees it.
So nobody sees it until they play it on TV, because that's what they do with app segments.
Yes, thank you for that, by the way.
And the highlight reel was actually supposed to go on that night. But Chris Jericho was beaten down by the Wyatts after they discovered he was listening to Flo Rida backstage, and as a result, his ears were bleeding.
Yeah, I saw that meme.
Thought that was pretty funny.
We'll get to that soon.
So this feud's obviously going to continue. Who didn't know that? But this feud's going to pick up, and it's going to be way more intense now. So Miz versus Dolph Ziggler in a really, really good match. I don't really normally say this about The Miz, but this was a good match, and Miz had a good segment on SmackDown, which we'll talk about later. But
his new Hollywood character's working.
I wasn't into it the first 2 weeks or so, but yeah. Those are $500 sunglasses, asshole.
All he needs to do is tattoo his name on his chest.
You said J-I-Z, right? You permanently
got 13, but they drew a 31.
Imagine that if Miz permanently had jizz on his chest.
Oh, God.
Our expert correspondent isn't here this week.
I can't wipe it off.
Can we also talk about how Ziggler won this match despite being buried?
Fucking buried.
He won this match. He had a lot of 2 counts in this match.
Oh, the 2 count.
And Miz applied the figure 4, and Dolph was like, oh my god, this is such a terrible rendition of the figure 4, I just want to tap out so the match ends, and he didn't. And zigzag, Miz's legs fly up in the air, and Ziggler pins him while his legs are all the way up and over his head. Seth Rollins then tells Triple H that he doesn't need his Money in the Bank briefcase, and Ambrose is always going to be there, unfortunately, whenever they try to cash in. So Cesaro walks in, and at least they're doing something with this guy, because they separated from Heyman with little to no explanation, and finally we got this little explanation here, and it makes all the sense in the world, where he's like, yeah, I don't want to be a Heyman guy, I want to be a Triple H guy. So he's filling in like that Bad News Barrett spot right now of just being the hired henchman.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which is fine, it works.
But that's good for the authority characters to actually have people that want to be with the authority, because then they don't have to necessarily get involved physically. So you're not always looking for more Triple H matches.
I'm not looking to get ahead, man. I'm just going to stay on my own. So next we have Natalya and Emma versus Paige A. Lee. And Paige A. Lee win the match because AJ tags in and she takes down Natty in the Black Widow. And Paige is like, congratulations on your win, until she flips out and says, Dan?
Oi, me twat!
And attacks AJ and beats the crap out of her.
That was awesome.
AJ no more.
And then she skips off.
I still ship it though.
So what did you get next, Pat?
I didn't get something that is a really important thing that happened this week.
Because Zack Ryder won a match on Raw.
For the first time since 2012.
In 2012. Zack Ryder defeated Fandango with Summer Rae and Layla on each arm.
Wow, he got 2 chicks and he beat Fandango.
Fandango had his foot on the rope, but Layla knocked it off. And thus Zack Ryder got the win.
His last win was playing early 2012 because that was when he was U.S. champ.
Did you get the Flo Rida concert?
Are you ready for my in-depth review of the Flo Rida concert?
Yes.
It sucked.
Thank you.
And then
I heard you was a wild one.
It was the same.
Waste of TV time.
It was like, hey, did you not see WrestleMania 28? Well, here you go. And then he performed a new song, which is the same as every other song, where he's like, I'm going to sing a verse, and then this chick is going to sing the next one.
And hers will be better than mine.
Yeah. No, wait, he doesn't sing. I'm sorry. He goes, stupid, move it, blah, blah, blues it, something music, blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, hey, I got a good solo here. So anyway, after that, Stephanie McMahon's like, let's hear it for Flo Rida! And then we get some police officers.
Ma'am.
And it's uncomfortable.
The former WWE diva known as
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Well, that's illegal here, so you're going to jail.
Arrested for assault and battery!
I appreciated the realism by actually having them talk to her, but I couldn't understand half of what was happening, so...
Yeah, I kind of feel that same way, where I liked that they did it in a more realistic fashion instead of the cop like, let me just have a microphone, please!
I mean, it would have been better if they were at least... I know they were, like,
Did
detectives.
you not understand him because he's Hispanic racist?
One of the cops was Hispanic?
Well, I guess someone notices color. Racist.
I like how that's what makes me racist.
I like how none of that triggered a doorbell.
Give it a second.
God, first I had Flo Rida performing on stage. Listen to that jigaboo music. And then a Spanish cop arrests my daughter. He probably doesn't even belong in this country. And he arrested my beautiful daughter, who sounds just like me sometimes. She even has the same chin. Which explains why Hunter hugs me so tightly sometimes. Probably gets us confused. You know,
Same voice, too.
I'm gonna get breast implants. They're gonna be bigger than my daughter's.
It's not a competition, Vince.
It's always a competition. You remember WCW? That was competition. Yeah.
What about
It was
TNA? Is that
also
competition?
over 13 years ago.
You want me to tell you how much competition TNA is to me? Their main event stable. There's a bunch of black guys. That's my mid-card stable.
Speaking of which, that's the next segment.
Oh, I didn't get this. I saw it the next night at main event, and I thought it was awesome.
Ryback defeats Kofi and Big E, and then Xavier Woods is like, this is not going to happen anymore. So he teases a big heel turn, and then they don't work heel for the rest of the week.
Yeah, I don't understand. Are they baby or are they heel? Like,
They
It's a
work
group
baby
of
on
black
SmackDown,
guys. Of course they're heel.
but I'll review that when we get there. Did you get the Rusev Great Khali match?
I'll let you guess.
Lucky you. And did you get Ambrose Cesaro?
Yes, I did. Twice this week, and each match was good in its own way.
Indeed.
So, I mean, I want to talk more about the SmackDown match, I think it was actually better. But, yeah, great match between Ambrose and Cesaro. They did that, the chair spot on Raw, which hit for Cesaro, and then on SmackDown, it was countered. I love when they do spots in a match that work the first time, they go for them again, and the ring psychology is the person has enough foresight to know that's coming. Love those spots. Christian's like a master of doing those.
Too bad he's buried.
I prefer Atheist.
He does.
Atheist was on the pre-show.
He also prefers that Christian come back and wrestle, despite the fact that Christian's really hurt. Well, I wish they'd give him another world title shot. Yeah, you also wish he'd break his neck. Fucking idiot.
I can wrestle, but I'm really hurt.
So then we get the main event segment where Triple H. Oh, when Stephanie gets arrested, by the way, Triple H is like, "I'll be right behind you," and then then they do this great segment where he's like, Joseph Mercury is back there, and he's like, "We need you to make this decision." He's like, "Can it wait?" And then he starts thinking. He's like, "Yeah, you know what? Lawyer's right behind her. They gotta process her. You know, I got a while." So he just decides to stay for the rest of the show and leave his wife. That was so great. That was such a dick heel thing. I loved it. So Triple H comes out to announce John Cena's SummerSlam opponent, and Randy Orton's like, "It's gonna be me." And Roman Reigns is like, "Nope, I'm gonna attack you, and we're gonna battle into the crowd." And Triple H is like, "Well, that makes it easy because neither of you are gonna be the one."
You're just gonna face each other at SummerSlam.
So Paul Heyman comes out, and he says, Plan A and Plan B don't work. So he thinks Plan C is the right choice. And he introduces Brock
Lesnar.
Yes, Plan C. And Brock Lesnar is the guy who's going to take on John Cena at SummerSlam, and the internet cries, and Paul Heyman says Cena will be stripped of the title.
They keep showing Taker losing.
And this, you know, the streak made this match bigger than it could have been. If Brock Lesnar lost to The Undertaker and came back to SummerSlam, it would have been like, okay, so what? John Cena's already beat him.
We're actually getting the payoff now.
John Cena's already beat him 12 years ago.
Plus...
Well, and like 2 years ago.
Paul Heyman, it needs to be pointed out that he built this entire promo. Like, he built the whole feud in one promo.
Yep.
One promo sold this feud, and that's why Paul Heyman's great. Although, some people believe he's just a spotlight hog. He doesn't put any attention on his wrestlers.
Because he always introduces himself when he starts a promo.
Except all he does is put all the attention on his wrestlers. Now, some people are stupid.
Lots of people are stupid.
And we're going to get to that. We're going to do a live main event SmackDown review because I was there. But first, we're going to talk about the Knicks.
The Knicks, the roar of the crowd. We start with a video about the road to the Women's Championship match, which is happening tonight. But first, the Ascension versus Jobbers. Like, literally, they didn't even tell us what their names were.
Didn't Renee Young make a comment about that? Like, I really don't like their chances because I don't know who they are.
Speaking of Renee Young, she's here for this show, so you get to hear Renee the entire show. Congratulations.
Wasn't Alex Riley there too?
The Ascension win.
Awesome. I like the chest slap spot with zero reaction. Because Victor tags in Connor and chases the guy outside. Connor waits on the outside of the other side of the ring, and the guy just goes back in the ring, and he's like, I know how to get away. Chop! Nothing.
But he also was doing, like, the wrist lock spot at the beginning, and they weren't even selling it. Like, are you kidding me? That's how you're going to start this match?
LOD, level of no selling.
Love these guys.
Dan loves LOD.
Isn't that weird? I don't care for LOD, but I really like this team.
It's different.
Ladies and gentlemen, the number one contender is not only in the building, but he is coming to the ring right now. Tyler Breeze. He's here, and his opponent is Hype. Hype. Hype.
Man, was a special at catering squash today?
So Mojo Rawley comes out, misses a clothesline, beauty shot, Tyler Breeze wins, 6-second match.
best Mojo Rawley match ever. Since I've started watching NXT, that was the best Mojo Rawley match I've seen him in.
When he came out, I was like, oh no.
That's what I thought too. And then when it was over, I'm like, really?
Oh yeah! Percy Watson was even like, oh yeah, on that one. Collecting his unemployment checks.
Angelo Watson.
And next up is the NXT Women's Championship match as Summer Rae will face the champion Charlotte. Catfight!
For two girls that can actually work good matches, this match wasn't good.
Charlotte has no ass.
That's why she lost.
They go to commercial in a hold and then come back still in the hold, so they didn't cut anything out of the match. And this match just reminded me of like two high school girls that get in a fight. A lot of screaming, a lot of hair pulling, nose hooking, more screaming. And then bow down to the queen. Charlotte retains.
Meh.
We get a hype video for Alexa Bliss.
I was cool with that.
And now it's time for Aiden English, Simon Gotch, the Vaudevillains! And they're going to face Kalisto and his new partner, who is Sin Cara! Wrestle, 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 flippy doos, and then, holy shit, Kalisto just pinned Gotch after a standing Shiranu.
Still a good match, though.
And now it's time for the main event of the evening as the NXT champion Adrian Neville is going to face Rusev Crush.
Which means you're not getting a good match.
Lana comes out and she's all like, Americans, you're obsessed with stars. Even your president is a star, but stars fade. But our leader, Putin, and Rusev are bigger than stars. Or whatever the fuck that was supposed to mean. And Rusev makes his entrance, and every time Rusev bends over in his entrance, there's a guy in the front row who covers his eyes. He's like,
Rusev crotch.
And it's flippy kicks versus boring power. Tyler Breeze shows up to fail.
That's my power.
Tyler Breeze shows up to fail at interfering, but he boots, rallies, and succeeds at interfering. That's a disqualification. Adrian Neville wins, but then Rusev Crush anyway, because that's what Rusev does.
Because that's what a Rusev do.
It wasn't a great episode of NXT.
Well, we got two cool squash matches, and usually I'm not like, oh, a squash match, that's awesome, but I like these two. One for a very particular reason.
Because you don't like the guy that got squashed?
Yes.
Alright, so I'm going to give you guys a live review of SmackDown and Main Event because it was in Orlando this past Tuesday. I'm going to break some kayfabe here real quick, just to let you guys know. By the time you're watching Main Event live on the network, it is not live at all. It is anything but live.
You're breaking kayfabe.
Because we were already in our Main Event by the time 8 o'clock hit.
And not the show Main Event.
Yeah, but the main event of main event is the opening match.
Remember when that used to be the case? I don't think it is anymore.
Definitely not this week. So, first off, we get a dark match. The very first match of the night is the Exotic Express coming out with Adam Rose, and it's party time. And Adam Rose is super over with the live crowd, and then his music hits again, and out comes Damian Sandrose, wearing a lemon around his neck, who announces that the party is over.
And this was the dark match.
This was the dark match. I'm actually really sad this did not air.
That sounds more like Hamey and Sandow.
They had a really good match. Of course, Adam Rose wins, and they party back up the ramp while Sandow's just kind of sad. Then they're like, okay, we're going to start main event now, and Cody Rhodes' wife is doing the ring announcing. And
she doesn't have a name?
Aiden Styles is her kayfabe name.
Girl!
Kayfabe name.
Although she has a video series on freaking YouTube or whatever for WWE where she's listed as freaking Brandy Rhodes. Which still isn't even her actual name. It would be Brandy Runnels. So she's got like 2 worker names.
Girl, you really don't know my name, Ron?
So, we get main event next. They shoot off pyro for main event, which was funny because I didn't know they did that anymore, so it scared the crap out of me when it happened.
You're like, Florida's back.
How come they can't afford Barrett's podium, but they can afford pyro for main event?
Yeah, that's a good question, isn't it? First match is Mr. Money in the Back, Seth Rollins, and he's taking on Fandango, who is apparently babyface now. The Fandangoing in Orlando didn't really happen, so they probably had some very strategic camera cuts.
Wasn't there the 10 people that are always Fandangoing?
Probably.
I think the 10 people that are always Fandangoing, the point Chris is trying to make is it's the same crowd shot from the same arena, and they just put it in the other arenas.
And now show the audience reaction shot.
Quick match.
It's like the SmackDown pop, where it's like the fake is cheer, which is like,
oh! I hate that SmackDown pop. And of course, guess who wins? The guy with the briefcase or the jobber guy?
Oh, Fandango wins for that new babyface push.
Yep. Only he gets curb stomped into his face into the mat, and that's the end of that. Then we get Jey Uso in action, which is funny because they just show like coming up next, and it's the Usos. But because you can't hear the live commentary, they come out, and you're just like, the following contest is scheduled for one fall. He's Jey Uso. And then Ryback still comes out. I'm like, well, I'm listening. Okay, who's it going to be? Making his way to the ring, Ryback. I'm like, okay, so Jey Uso's losing.
Oh, it's Jey Uso? I always pronounced it Juso. I thought they were Jewish Samoans.
Juso silly, Vince.
I also like how on main
event... Jew so crazy. Yeah.
On main event for the singles match, we don't get the big Uso entrance. We just get pyro and, hey, it's the Usos.
I'm on top.
Jew so petty.
Is that Tom Petty's kid?
You know what you have to do with the Jusos when they're on the top rope? You gotta Jew them down.
Vince, you gotta work on your material, man.
He left already.
Yeah.
So I used them down.
Yeah. Hitting some weak spots now.
You ever see Jew them up on what's that? Oh, what's his fucking name? He plays Archer. I can't think of his name right now. John Benjamin. Yeah, John Benjamin has a van, and him and David Cross do Jew them up, where they go places and they Jew up the price, dressed like Orthodox Jews. The guy's like, this couch is $300. Like, $300? That's so cheap. We'll give you $500.
So, because it's Ryback facing the Uso, do you think Ryback wins? Because the big guy gets the victory.
Yes, he does, and I was incredibly happy. I actually posted on the Club Kayfabe official page about this. That's how happy I was.
Yeah, how come no one told you Ryback won?
Yeah, how come no one told me Ryback won? More importantly, how come nobody liked it?
Because you're the only person that likes Ryback.
Hey, Chev likes Ryback. There's 2 of us.
Yeah, but he's a troll, so he could be trolling you.
Then we get a promo for the new tag team of Slater Gator, which Titus is not feeling. He is a singles guy, and he thinks he's just kidding around.
Man, all my partners are gay.
Ever been.
My tag partners, not my sexual partners.
And they're going to face Nation of Domination 14. As out comes Biggie and Kofi as the unsure if we're face or heel tag team with manager Reverend Woods. Slater Gator loses in quick fashion, and they have another promo backstage. But
Heath
Slater's
going
to
have
make
his masters if he's working towards his PhD.
So Heath Slater is he's going to make
If
Slater
you,
happen.
if you ask me, a black man should always have masters. Yeah, nailed it.
We get a Zeb promo all about how, well, America, ex-Russia. It's the same stuff, but good. Rusev Crush rematch with Swaggy. It's a DQ finish when he goes for the Russian flag, but Zeb takes it away.
It's almost the same finish.
Yes, and of course he does not submit at all to the Patriot Lock, despite not wearing boots.
But it does go nicely against the internet's thought of, I think they're canceling this feud because of what Lana said.
Yeah, and then they have another match. Brilliant people. Really good match. Rusev's had his best matches against Swagger. And what's cool is that this is already the 5th match of this live show, and we haven't even gotten to SmackDown yet. Main event ends, they start rolling over for SmackDown, but before that, we get a dark match between Tyler Breeze and Adrian Neville for the NXT Championship. And
That
that's
sounds awesome. Yeah.
Yes. So I got to
Title
see...
match isn't even on the TV show?
Because it's for the title, it's obvious that Neville is going over, and he does so with the Red Arrow, which I get to see in person, and it's awesome. Then, of course, out comes Cole and JBL. It's time to go live on SmackDown, even though it's like 8:30 something, which is a really weird time, but whatever. SmackDown starts out with a rematch from Main Event, or a rematch from about 45 minutes ago, as they're both Samoans take on Rybaxel. This time,
Oh
however,
my God.
the Usos win because it's a tag match, and Mr. Collateral Damage takes the pin.
Oh, and this was so stupid. This was such a terrible finish. Because
Stupid.
Uso number 1 gets knocked out on the outside, and Uso number 2 goes, oh, I have an idea, and goes off the tag rope and jumps down next to him like they're both hurt, clearly right next to him. Curtis Axel is looking at both of these men the entire time and grabs the wrong one still.
Good job,
It's
Mr.
that
Collateral
twin
Damage.
magic.
Stupid, stupid, stupid. That thing you did was stupid. Stupid was that thing that you did.
Axel, you done fucked up.
He done fucked up. Now, which one was the good-looking one again?
The hot twin.
That was the pre-show promo from the pay-per-view. One of them's just like, I'm the good-looking one, and he's like, what?
He's the hot twin, man.
They're both Samoan, but I like that one better.
Of course you do. You can like one Samoan more than another. That's okay. That's not racist.
No, each cookie tastes different.
That's right.
So, us sitting there live watch as a bunch of people come out carrying couches, a special carpet, and an upside-down WWE logo descends from the ceiling, which means next is Miz TV.
The WWE Antichrist with his upside-down symbol.
Miz cuts a phony Oscar speech about winning the IC title and introduces his parents who are at ringside.
Wait, I've got to say this. Being one of the resident Miz haters on this show, I really like this promo. I actually thought it was really funny. His father was still... He did smile, but he was emotionally unavailable for comments.
Yes.
But I liked, oh, you're embarrassing me, Mom. I thought that was really good.
And then his mom's favorite wrestler is Roman Reigns because he's hot.
He's hot. What can I say?
And he wants to thank the man above, the power greater than him, the moneymaker. He's going to thank God. I hate the Miz now.
I thought this was Miz, not Christian. So then Bo Dallas.
Well, we're all expecting Ziggler's music to hit any minute, and then we hear the
Yeah.
inspirational music hit instead. I'm like, this is awesome. And he's like, Miz, you won because you believed. And Miz is like, I like you, Bo. We should do lunch sometime.
Yeah, your
then-
people call my people. He's like, that would be sweet.
And then Ziggler's like, whatever. It's easy to win a title when all you do is play possum outside. And then punch to Miz. Dallas hits Ziggler. And because we're they're going to cut to commercial to set up for this match. It's really awkward for the live crowd as Ziggler just rolls out of the ring. Bo Dallas casually steps out. Miz goes and sits down at the commentary table, and we wait patiently as they dismantle the set. Both guys crawl back into the ring. They ring the bell, and it's like, hey, we're back.
I just can't wait to get my hands on you. Oh, I have to wait? Okay.
Yeah, we got to wait till we take the set down.
Could you guys wait till we take the set down? Okay.
Miz distraction leads to a Bo Dallas victory, but it's a really good match until
The
then.
Miz-traction?
The Miz distraction, indeed.
How many in Bo are we now?
I don't even know anymore.
He's lost 2 Battle Royals for crying out loud.
Yeah, but
They
those
weren't
don't count.
they weren't Bodal Royals, so they don't count.
Next up, we get a no disqualification match, and this is between Dean Ambrose and Cesaro. Rematch from Monday, but with the no DQ stipulation, you're pretty much guaranteed a better match. Kendo sticks and chair shots galore. The crowd is chanting, "We want tables," and are a little disappointed when nobody locates a table.
I like when Ambrose is about to he's about to come off of the top of the commentary table, and you don't even notice Cesaro has a kendo stick, but bam, swing up hurricane right to the abs.
Really cool match for the live crowd. Of course, Seth Rollins interferes and gets his ass kicked too. And we got that really cool spot at the end where they just lay down about 10 chairs in the ring and do a top rope suplex onto the chairs, which looks really vicious. But it's not enough because roll up, Ambrose wins, and then Rollins jumps him and Cesaro hits the neutralizer. We get a curb stomp from Rollins before Ambrose rolls out of the ring during commercial. And, of course, he's fighting off the rest like I'm going to walk out on my own, which gets him over even more. Definitely the match of the night. Then we get Lone Funkadactyl versus Paige with the working girl on the top of the ramp. This is slightly longer than the Tyler Breeze Mojo Rawley match, but not by much. Paige mocks AJ Lee's skip to ringside, claims that no, they're still friends, proving that she's still doing the anti-diva thing, defeats Naomi in short work, and Cameron does absolutely nothing. She thinks she did stuff, but she didn't.
Girl, bye.
Bye. Then they say next up is Bray Wyatt in action, and as we're waiting for the promo to come up, we're all trading thoughts among each other, like, so who's this going to be? We're all expecting to hear woo, 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 and then we're like, no, they got Justin Gabriel, it might be him. They could always send out Tyson Kidd, and we're like, I wonder who it's going to be. And then we hear, y'all know what time it is? And we all laugh, because we didn't even think of that, jobber.
Because you do all know what time it is. Time for Bray Wyatt to win a match.
At least he gets the name of the city right. And then immediately after, Bray Wyatt comes out. This is my first time seeing the Wyatt family live. As soon as they do the intro part where he's lighting the torch, all the cell phones light up in the arena.
We're here.
I like how they don't even try to stop that anymore. Originally they were, and then they're like, wow, that's a great visual.
So now they added it to the Titantron.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool to see it in person. It really is. Of course, Bray Wyatt wins with Sister Abigail, because if you thought Truth was winning, well, yeah, you're just a fool.
I'm afraid I got some bad news, fish and chips, Mary Poppins on 101 Dalmatians.
We're going to have to rewrite the Harry Potter books with Triple H.
What, like a nerd? Like I could talk about Gimli or whatever his name is?
He always nails the name and then acts like only nerds would know him.
Only a nerd would know who that is.
What was it? He called someone a hobbit or whatever.
Only a nerd would know what that is. Well, obviously you know what it is.
And John Cena's like, yeah, you got the reference right.
Bray Wyatt also tells us live people there how Truth needs Chris Jericho, but where is he now? Because, kicked his ass so he wouldn't have to listen to Flo Rida.
Where's Chris Jericho now? He just had an album come out last week.
Probably cutting a podcast.
Your
It's
TV...
Friday!
Yes. We're about to hit an hour of the show recording so far, and we're still doing reviews. So let's make this quick. Main event is Roman Reigns versus Alberto Del Rio. Del Rio gets zero reaction from the Orlando fans, and apparently from Pat.
Yes. Oh, that's not me.
Oh, that's even better.
But I didn't say anything, so it was zero
match
reaction.
is okay, but the fans are only into it because Roman Reigns is super over with live crowds, whereas Del Rio is not. Of course, Roman Reigns wins. And then we get our live dark match, which is Kane comes out and he says, I'm here to destroy somebody, send me anybody. And then Big Show comes back, and everybody's really excited until the match starts. And one of the worst matches I've ever witnessed live in person takes place as Kane and Big Show tiptoe through this mundane, awful match that ends in a crappy DQ, and then Big Show takes the mic, he's like, I want to thank you guys for coming to drive home safe.
Such a big tongue. Got a big tongue. If they tiptoed their entire match, I think I would have to watch that.
And then, of course, when I was talking about what an awful match it was, Heyman was like, well, it's just a dark match. Oh, okay, so I guess the live crowd doesn't matter. They're allowed to be crappy because it's not televised.
Yep.
Well, it is only a match we put on for the black people.
That is pretty much the gist of the dark match.
Which is funny because Breeze and Neville gave us a much better match.
Come on, Breeze!
And that was your SmackDown Live. Really good show. As far as like who's over with the live crowd, if any idiots out there, well, he doesn't listen to the show, but the whole Adam Rose is not over thing is not true because Adam Rose is very over with the live crowd.
Oh, no!
Well, I'm a lemon. I like how, because he doesn't like Adam Rose, he claims he's a lemon, which is the truest thing he's ever said.
The funny thing is, like, we make a lot of different fruit drinks and smoothies at my job, so I just always picture him going up to the counter. First of all, picturing him in a health food store is pretty hilarious. But
Pretty funny.
I was just like, give me a smoothie, just lemons. Just lemons. Or just, like, biting into full lemons, just being like, these are delicious.
You know what? If he actually did that, though, as a full-on troll, it would be very entertaining. If you're going to troll, you might as well troll.
I'm inviting Jason over, and we're going to have a lemon party.
Oh, no.
God.
Hey, Adam Rose got injured. Let's have a pizza party, but we'll call it a lemon party. Don't think you know what that means, there.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about trolls since we're on this subject. So our old pal Heyman watched the movie Up, and he wanted to see what all the fuss was about. When the movie was over, he goes, so what's so great about this movie? It was okay, but nowhere near as good as most of Pixar's stuff. The first response comes from Nick Ashley's father, who tells him it was a heartwarming story.
I like how he has to defend that fact.
He immediately responds with, I didn't find it all that great. I couldn't really connect with these characters like I do with most Pixar characters. See, he can't connect with an old couple who finds love, but he can connect with sentiment
with a fucking
toys.
toy, yeah.
With sentiment toys and robots.
I can really relate to Slinky Dog.
He relates to Sid. Come on, let's be realistic. If only I could be a garbage man by the time the third one comes out.
Sid's such a great heel.
The Pizza Planet!
The dominant heel, Sid.
We have had a dominant heel, Sid, and he did destroy things.
He's destroyer world.
WCW were his misfit toys.
Yes. So it gets better. He says the only character he really felt sorry for was Charles, who wasted his whole life looking for that bird and died without ever proving he wasn't a fraud. So it's kind of amusing. And then Nick Ashley's mother chimes in with the following. Well, that's the thing. There's a lesson there, right? Or a couple. I see the messages saying not to spend your life trying to prove yourself to people. Live your life discovering yourself and experience life around you. And he's just like, I see what you did there.
Kills self.
She told you to get a life or kill yourself.
Cannot self-terminate.
God. Do.
The laws of Haemonics cannot self-terminate.
Oh God! So it's totally worth it just to hear him get completely shot down, especially considering the fact that I think Laurie Ashley knows what she's talking about. Considering she lost a son, you would think that he would actually listen to something like that. Considering Nick was one of his best friends, but no, he's going to keep wasting his life and trying to prove himself to everybody.
I must prove you wrong. Iron Man 2 was not a good movie, and I will defend that to the death.
Which is funny, because didn't he block you over that?
That was the very first time I was blocked, was because I like Iron Man 2. Because, well, it has Mickey Rourke, and I thought it was entertaining.
I like
and
it too.
I didn't think the first or the third one were as good, so that's how I felt. And it's just a passing view of a movie. It's nothing really. I was just like, I like Iron Man 2 the best, and then I was driven into the ground with my opinion, man. To which point
No opinions allowed.
after which I got blocked, and I posted. I think I just got blocked by somebody who didn't like Iron Man 2 because I like it, and he responded to me via text by, "I can't believe you'd post such a petty status." I'm like, dude, you just blocked me over not liking a movie.
Petty status, you're the petty one.
Seriously.
I didn't even post anything about Tom Petty.
But you posted a lot about Lori Petty. I mean,
I did.
be serious here.
We should. My status was free falling.
Dude, you just kept on talking about A League of Their Own and Tank Girl like so much.
You're a petty person. Well, yeah, I have all of his albums.
And the box set.
I love Running Down a Dream.
I'm not
So do I.
petty,
So do I.
Heartbreaker guy.
I love Running Down a Dream.
And I don't mean chasing it. Alright, it's time for the Facebook comments on the official WWE Facebook page.
I prefer Thomas Petty.
You probably do. This week we looked at that WWE Transformed thing.
Oh yeah. Everybody thought it was going to be a debut or something actually exciting, and it wasn't.
And it was, hey, we made 6 WWE superstars look like superheroes-ish.
We did drawings.
We get a strange drawing. So, I guess it's time for people to speculate on what hashtag WWE Transformed means.
I was like, Jigsaw's going to take off the mask again?
Yep. At double feature. New writers that can actually write a good storyline?
Nope, not at all. Just pictures. Pixar didn't happen.
Pictures.
Alright, the next two kind of go together, so we'll do them back to back real quick. Brock Lesnar is a loser. Hit like if you agree with me.
How many likes?
This is followed up by like if you want Brock Lesnar as a champ. Now, they're both
Whoa,
likes.
back to back.
They're both about liking, so we'll take a look at the likes. They were within 25 likes of each other.
This is a democracy. We have to take this to the Facebook Electoral College.
They were like so close. It was like 950 to like 930. Something like that. It was ridiculous. So, just about as many people that hate Brock Lesnar like Brock Lesnar. So, sounds familiar. Somebody that is as equally loved as he is hated.
You know, if Heyman were Asian, he would have brocked me.
So bad. Alright, on to our next. The return of the Attitude Era, ooh, dumbasses.
Ooh, dumbasses.
What about so dumbasses?
It's only
When I
half.
say ooh dumbasses, you say so dumbasses.
The Usos are now accompanied by Lita.
Ooh, spooky fingers.
Ooh. Oh, because her last name's Dumbass. I get it.
Are you guys firing Bo Dallas?
Nope. We're giving him a push.
Off a cliff?
Oh, perfect.
And finally, new logo, new belts, already been blabbed.
What?
Blabbed?
Yep. Blabed?
Blabbed?
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 No, because there's only one B in the middle.
Blabbed.
Oh, it's Blobed, like Abed, but with B. Black Abed? Oh my god.
Blobbed. Oh no. Oh no.
Imagine if Danny Glover played Abed, he'd be Blobed. And of course I met Donald Glover. Danny Glover's the old man.
No, I think Donald Glover and Danny Glover being both on Community and being around the same age in college would be hilarious. Or he could take the role of, what's his nuts? Chevy Chase.
Well, Donald Glover's not on the show anymore. Chevy Chase's character is dead.
Nope, they just got Mike from Breaking Bad now. I don't know if they have...
Yahoo.
All right. So, it's time to play at CK. We're going to bury some people. And not because anybody violated the rules this week. We might bury them because their entry sucks. So this is an entry I've wanted to do since the first day we came up with the game. Club Kayfabe Land Attractions. We opened our own theme park. What kind of attractions would we have at this park?
Welcome to Kayfabe Land.
The only problem with this is that in order for these attractions to be funny, people have to enter funny things. So I was mostly disappointed, but still we got some good stuff, and I'm going to let you guys decide.
We might give half points for at least decent ride ideas, even if it's not funny.
Okay, so here's our first entry. The Lana. Think about it. I want to ride the Lana. Me too, son. Me too. That was the whole entry. Get it? Ride the Lana? Damn.
Right off the bat on that one.
Yeah. See, it's very funny when you explain it.
Such funny.
You have to give us an example. Oh, wait.
Yes. All right. So,
Use it in a sentence.
well, Dylan Mushaw, congratulations. You're not banned, but your entry was not funny. Considering that was the leadoff entry, I was so upset with this entry already. But I think we start to get a little better here.
Well, they could only get better from that. Hopefully.
Well, I think that actually was the worst one. All right, next one is Stephanie's Enchanted D-Cups.
Kind of funny.
Instead of the teacups.
That's
Yes.
kind of funny.
So they're all like bra. You sit in.
They're
bras.
they're just big implants. So what do you say?
I'm going to go ahead and give that one points compared to the last one.
Well, it'll be a lot of points then. All right. Points leader scores 100 points. Our next entry is the Vaudevillains Penny Farthing Extravaganza.
Okay. Yeah, points.
I would check that out. And that's our number 2 points holder, Siobhan Ferguson.
Uh-oh.
So, well, Chevy, look at it this way. You're not losing points. So, it's still an even match. Okay,
He's
next
still
entry.
losing by the same amount as he was losing before.
Yes. The next entry is Kevin Nash's Quad of Terror.
Oh.
Is it
No.
spelled Tearor?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, then it gets points. Now, do you tear your quad on that ride, or
Oh God, I hope not.
You
Or-
tear his quad.
or are you riding on his quad during a big boot, and then everything just goes haywire?
Boot. Oh, poor Kevin Nash. All right, good job, Taylor Chadwick. Okay, the next entry is soaring.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I don't get this one. Soaring.
Just soaring.
Yeah. I can't figure out what it's referencing.
I'm afraid I don't get the reference.
Yeah. So, Mike Simsack, you don't get any points, because I don't get it.
You also don't get working legs.
Oh, he hasn't had that.
Oh, if he is that his prize if he wins the game?
Yeah, we have a pair of working legs right
Mo-
here.
Most people don't know that this game is like Twisted Metal, and we are Calypso, and we grant your wish. But it always comes out in some way that you didn't expect, and you end up dying.
Oh, dear. Okay, the next entry is Hey Man's Tunnel of Friends.
That sounds like the scariest ride ever.
Sounds like the
It's just
shortest
it's
ride
a
ever.
tunnel. Wouldn't it just be a tunnel? Like a regular old tunnel.
Oh, I thought. See, that's hilarious. But I thought it was a tunnel where, like, there's Friends episodes on every wall, all
Yay.
different. I'm not sure which would be.
Oh, dude, there's two of them, and you never know which one you're going into.
Oh no!
No, either the shortest ride ever,
Well,
which is just
one-
a picture. It's just a picture of a dead Nick Ashley.
Oh,
And then the other one is all 10
No, is
seasons,
it a picture
man.
of him when after he died?
No, I can't do that.
Lord.
All right, so is that points then?
Tunnel of Friends has his two friends with titles on either side at the end.
I'm going to assume that's points.
Mark Beltzner, yeah.
All right, Don Mario.
Wah! I get to the points. I hate and love the idea of just Friends episodes consuming you from all angles. And then at the end, you get a box set copy.
And it's all
Of
different
course,
episodes.
the
They
best-
can't even like follow one continuity as like a.
No, they have to be in
compilation.
chronological order because of He-Man. They need to be in chronological order.
Like
Yeah.
every TV is showing a different episode, but they're each in order.
He was like,
You
I
can't
need.
follow a single storyline.
I remember he was buying every season of Three's Company at one point. He's like, I just need to watch them from the beginning. And I'm like, dude, they air that shit for free on TV Land, like, all the time. He's just like, no, I need to see it from the beginning. I'm like, no, there's not really a story arc to follow in Three's Company.
He's pretending he's gay so he can live with two women.
I want to watch Charles in charge until he's not in charge anymore. When did that happen?
When the show got canceled like 3 years in.
All right. Here's our next entry.
Who is the boss?
Yes. The Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass booth.
Yeah! Whites only!
He's just bent over the entire day. Who knows if they're bringing their lips? Or
Bring me my lunch! I'm just gonna eat out of a trough.
lips or hips, Vince?
Both.
So, does that get points then?
Yes, it does. Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to agree with Racist Vince for a change and give it points. By the way, Racist Vince, I wanted to ask you really quick while you're still here. Yeah. There's a Racist Vince on Twitter. That's not you, is it? Are you kidding? I just started the Facebook. It took me forever to get that. I don't even know what this... What is a Twitter?
He's still on MySpace.
Damn right.
Him and Tom.
I think on Twitter, all you can write is "Oi me twat."
On MySpace, I want you guys to add me so you could be in my top friends.
Okay, get right on that.
I'm gonna go do a quiz, okay? A MySpace quiz.
So I tried to log onto my MySpace recently, and I couldn't figure out the password until I realized that if password wasn't the problem, the email I used to log in is an email I haven't used in over 10 years.
I tried to log into my MySpace recently, and then I realized I deleted it 4 years ago.
I mean, Justin Timberlake didn't work on all those problems?
Yeah. Pat, if you were interested, your profile picture on MySpace is the Watchman smiley face.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
I just thought you'd appreciate that.
So you haven't used it since 369?
Yep. No, I haven't, actually.
I haven't used MySpace since the summer of 07, because that's when I went to be with my grandparents for the summer, and they still had dial-up. And MySpace would not load on dial-up because everyone's got their fucking videos and Giphy Jiffies all over the place.
Oh, yeah. I used MySpace on dial-up, too.
I
terrible.
left MySpace for Facebook because Facebook was lo-fi at the time.
I remember someone invited me to Facebook because originally when you had to like be a part of a college or something and someone had to invite you, and I was like, who would use this? This thing sucks. I want to go back to MySpace. And then I was like, nope, MySpace is pretty terrible. It's messy.
Facebook for almost 10 years.
Yep. Everybody uses the Facebooks now.
Even my parents and my grandmother.
Dad!
So anyway, the Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass booth, that was Joe Mad Dog Needle Sr., which is
I
a very
don't
long
think
name.
that's your real name.
All right, you get points. Next entry, the Uso Brothers Slushy Stand.
We're giving out plastic slushies. Somebody listens to this show. Points!
Mickey O'Reilly listens to this show.
Oh, this is an attraction. The slushy stand. It's like on the frickin' one of the big signs, billboard signs, as you're like 200 miles away still. It's like Uso slushy stand.
Uso slushy.
Uso Slushy. Do you have to like dodge their pyro to get in there?
Well,
Yeah, but
they're on top.
but you're buying an empty. The ride is you buy an empty drink with a plastic top.
Rey Mysterio's always there to make sure you don't forget your straw.
That's how they're gonna keep
That's
him
what
under
he's doing
contract.
nowadays.
Yeah, I'm gonna extend his contract.
Did you read that Jay Shin apparently meme? Rey Mysterio hasn't cashed any of his checks in like a year.
All right. Our next entry is the Bobby Lashley Bath Turd Log Ride.
Oh my god!
So it looks like a big freaking turd in the bathtub.
I'm imagining there's like a big flusher that starts the ride.
Oh god.
What would Vince say about comparing Lashley to a turd?
Well, it's pretty much all right there. What can I say?
But Vince is biased. He hates Bobby because he can't get his head shaved.
It's it reminds me of that old adage: "Got to drop the Cosby kids off at the pool." Yeah.
Oh, God. All right, so points for Bath Turd Log Ride.
Yes.
All right, that was Chris Wright who submitted that one.
God, that was a super black entry from a super black man.
It's funny how many
Black man?
things.
There's no such hero.
So everything is
What is he-
everything's gotten points since the first entry, which was terrible.
Does super black man collect all the welfare?
Vince, stay put. This next ride's about you.
Oh no.
Racist Vince presents the joys of being white.
How am I gonna do that while having people kiss my ass? Oh, it's the same ride.
No, yeah, one is the front, one is your face, and the other is your ass. They're on opposite sides of a wall.
You know the joys of being white? Look behind me.
So, does that get points, Vince?
Yeah.
God. Can you imagine actually going on that attraction?
I have a busy schedule.
An animatronic Vince.
Can I have a zoo where I have all different nationalities of people locked behind bars?
No, Vince. That's not
No,
happening.
that's called prison.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Who's racist?
Can I have a prison?
God. All right, so Ellis.
You do. It's called WWE.
Yes, Ellis, you get points for Joys of Being White. All right, we got 5 entries left, and they've all gotten points other than that first one. Not bad, guys. Not bad.
I gotta say, I once started a freak show, and nobody came. It said, "Come see the amazing black man." Apparently,
Wonder why nobody came to that.
apparently there were more in the crowd. Wasn't so special. Should went with that bearded lady,
Jesus. All right.
my daughter.
Next entry. It's a Bow World. I knew that was going to happen.
No
Instead of
points.
It's a Small World. All
Oh,
right.
that's what it was instead of. Oh, I get it, because bow and small sound so similar.
All right. No points to Mr. Hardman.
Which
Sorry,
hard man? It's Matthew?
Brother CJ.
Oh, yes! Oh, yeah!
All right. Our next attraction is Chris Benoit's Crippler Pillow Face.
How is that a ride? Is that just... You get strapped in and then you're just muffled by a pillow? By 2 giant arms?
I don't know.
It sounds like a massage parlor from hell. Or like you just...
Isn't the open hole there?
Oh.
No, there's an open hole and then there's pillows just...
Do you get a Bible at the end?
There's Bibles next to every table.
God damn.
I guess you'd have to give that points. I would think it would be funnier if it was a Benoit massage parlor.
This is all terrible. Yes, an unhappy ending. All right, Mike Ruckus, you get points for the terrible attraction.
Unhappy ending or 3-day weekend. Pick which one. Oh, they both end the same.
3 nights in Atlanta.
Oh.
Jesus. All right, next entry. Ric Flair's Woo Mountain.
Terrible. Because it's already a joke. Space Mountain's already the joke.
Yep.
Terrible. Banned for 1 week.
Is that what you guys are going to do? That's Dan's decision. Dan chose the ban hammer.
It's up to Dan, but I think that was so terrible.
Let us consider the fact that their joke was already a joke that they made worse.
Let's take a moment for that wounded warrior joke.
God.
So, no points.
Ban approved.
Yes!
Oh.
Drop the hammer!
All right. Matt Hardman, you are banned from playing next week. Man, the Hardmans are just not doing so good
The
right now.
the Hardman boys.
Those Hardman boys have been pretty
All right,
disappointing.
so Matt Hardman, you will receive the ban hammer for next week's game.
Matt and C. Jeff Hardy. Men.
Well, he didn't do anything. He had an unfunny entry, but
He got his high spot in.
okay. We have 2 left. Next one is John Cena's 5-knuckle shuffleboard.
Is that for the seniors? I hope it is.
So terrible.
The senior.
Oh God.
Is it? Wait, yeah, it's got to be hosted by John Cena then. If this didn't get points before, it gets points now.
All right, Jason Shin, you get points for John Cena's 5-knuckle shuffleboard.
I'm not going to show up because it's an old people game. My dad's going to show up instead. You have a great time.
Hey, we didn't say which Cena was going to show up.
As opposed to The Miz, my dad is actually my dad.
Is that a fake dad?
The security guard? Yeah.
Mrs. Dad's a security guard fake dad?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You haven't seen pictures of him as a security guard in other shows?
No.
All right,
Look for him
guys.
anytime there's a brawl in the crowd.
We are down to our final entry at Club Kayfabe Land. The Blue Blazer bungee jump.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Is it
Do
an
they-
actual bungee jump? Does it actually work?
Do they play Tom Petty's Free Fallin'?
Or is it just a suicide booth?
No, that's the Benoit ride.
God damn.
Is your harness going to work? These are important questions. Is it just a themed bungee jump? Or is it really a way to kill yourself?
God, it's not like he committed suicide. Jesus Christ.
I know, but if you elect to go on the ride, you are.
You know what my favorite Smashing Pumpkins album is?
Yeah.
Melon Arena and the Infinite Sadness.
Wow. Holy crap. All right, so points for Blue Blazer bungee jump.
Yes.
All right, Melissa Hatfield, who people claimed won an internet with that one. Oh, wow. All right, so 3 people did not get points. Everybody else did. This was a good turnout. I'm very, very happy with this. Now you guys got to pick a winner.
Could I please have the
Yes,
selections
let's
again?
do the roll call.
The 20 of selections we have.
Stephanie's Enchanted D-Cups.
You got points, but you're out now.
The Vaudevillains Penny Farthing Extravaganza.
Sorry.
Kevin Nash's Quad of Terror.
Mm.
Heyman's Tunnel of Friends.
I'm saving that one. That's a maybe.
Okay. The Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass booth. The Usos Slushy Stand. The Bastard Log Ride. The Joys of Being White. The Crippler Pillow Face. The 5-Knuckle Shuffleboard. And the Blue Blazer Bungee Jump.
I like so many of them, but God, the bungee jump is just so bad that you have to that cringeworthy points put it at the top.
So
I
guess
think
that's-
so.
I guess that's it then. Dan?
Yeah.
All right. Melissa Hatfield, you win with the Blue Blazer Bungee Jump, which made a lot of people cringe when you posted it.
And
Ugh.
might make a lot of people dead.
Yes. All right. So we got a small handful of questions this week. We'll go ahead and answer them right now. Here's a good one from Adrian Cotton. When do you think fans started being experts on a wrestler's work rate? Never.
Yep.
The fans
Pretty
are
much.
The fans are not experts on wrestlers' work rates, and it's scary how many people think they are.
When did they start thinking they were? About the year 2000.
In the year 2000.
Here's the thing. I don't care how much you don't like John Cena. He can be your number 1 least favorite wrestler. It doesn't matter. If you try to tell me he's a bad worker, then you don't know anything about wrestling. He's not a bad worker. He's actually a pretty good worker. He does exactly what he needs to do to get over. And he knows how to work the crowd.
I hate when people say so and so had like a really subpar match. Like compared to what that you have done. What
Yeah.
gives you the authority to grade someone's performance that way?
Bray Wyatt is the worst worker they have. How? Defend that. And he never does. His whole defense is, well, I don't like him. Okay, then he's not a bad worker. You don't like him. Big difference in that statement.
Hey, he's a heel. You're not supposed to like them, Mark.
Yeah, but he's a real life heel.
I'm a real life heel, man.
He is a real life heel. Everyone hates him. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, that's a good segue to our next question from Matt Hardman. Do you think negative publicity or marks are more of a detriment to the business?
Mix of both, equally.
Marks being negative are a detriment to the business.
I think when mainstream gets a hold of something and they run with it, they blow it out of proportion. But that's what they do with everything. They're very ignorant to what goes on everywhere. So even something like wrestling breaks through with the whole Lana thing. They're very ignorant. They don't understand the product, and therefore it becomes this big issue. But it might bring more eyes to the product, so it can be a good
Right.
thing at times.
Right, right. Negative publicity doesn't really hurt because WWE has always been able to spin it in their factor, like in their way. Remember the steroid trial? That was horrible publicity for them, and now they're the biggest thing going. So, but the whole thing with the whole marks being negative, and I take crap for this in the group from some of our own members when I say, I wish people would stop being so negative, and then some people are like, well, it's okay for us to be negative because we're not always going to like what we see, and you're acting like we're not allowed to judge what we see. No, I'm not saying it like that. What I'm saying is, if you're always negative about everything you see, it makes me wonder why you're watching it to begin with. There's a big difference between, not liking something and always hating on something. I think people don't get that. Like, I know you guys get that, but it doesn't matter. Because that's 3 people.
Yeah, but it's the 3 most important people.
Yeah. When every one of your... Well, let's I hate to do this. Let's do another Heyman example. When he did his Money in the Bank preview, all he did was talk about how he hated every single match that was booked except for the 2 Money in the Bank matches, and how he was going to hate it if the one person he wanted to win didn't win each one. And that's what's so stupid about that. That's why we rag on him.
Disappointed that your favorite guy didn't win.
Wrestling is a ride. You enjoy the ride of the match or the event. You don't. And that's just me watching from a more educated perspective. I know people who do watch for people who win or lose, and that's it. But to me, wins and losses don't matter. I know there's different people in the wrestling industry who disagree with that, but I think anybody can come back from almost anything.
Yeah.
And
no, I agree.
Yeah, there's a greater story sometimes in the loss, too.
The Rock once lost the #1 contenders match to the Big Boss Man.
Rock lost to the Hurricane.
You remember when the Razor Ramon lost to the 1-2-3 Kid? He wasn't buried. That was a shocking moment.
It's one of the greatest moments from the first year of Raw ever.
Well, here's the perfect example, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If Brock Lesnar ended The Undertaker's undefeated streak in the 1980s, all we'd be talking about is what a beast Lesnar is, and we couldn't believe that that's the guy who stopped The Undertaker and who's going to stop him now. But because, we all know it's predetermined and somebody's booking this, now it's all about how they booked it wrong and all this other stuff. Everybody thinks they're an expert. And if you're such an expert, why aren't you working for WWE? Why aren't you writing these storylines if you know so much more than they do? Ask somebody to book a fantasy episode of Raw and watch how quickly they put over only the people they like and bury all the people they don't like.
Oh, you mean just like they do in WWE, because that's the way things work.
Yeah. If I were in Raw, the first thing I would do is turn John Cena heel. Really? And then what's your business plan going out from that? Do you have a plan, or are you just doing it because you want to see that?
Well, if he was heel, then he wouldn't like these people. No, you have to actually physically write and craft these feuds. They don't just happen because someone turns heel.
Yeah.
Turning heel or turning face, and WWE is guilty of that sometimes too, because they turn people heel.
Perfect all the time. It's impossible.
Right, but they turn people heel or turn people face with no real plan or a failed plan. Like look at Del Rio.
Let's turn him face to get him over with the Latin community. Oh, this isn't working.
And let's feud him with this one guy who we're going to give the title to. Oh, wait, he got caught smoking weed, so now we got back out, and now we don't know what we're doing.
And the thing is, I'm not saying that especially people who are listening to the show who might feel like I'm addressing them, which I don't think I am, because I think the people who are guiltiest of this don't really listen anyway. But the thing is, I'm not saying you guys wouldn't have good ideas to use, but the thing is, everybody thinks they've got the solution, and the fact is none of you do. None of us do either. The 3 of us couldn't just walk into Raw tomorrow and fix the product. It's impossible. It would take a lot of planning, a lot of strategy, and you have to work with everybody, not just
Maybe
people you like.
maybe the three of you, but the three of you and me would book a fantastic show.
God, where Del Rio and Big Show main event for 30 minutes.
Big Show shouldn't go for more than 30 seconds at this point.
No, he really shouldn't. All right, let's answer another question here from, go back to our old pal Adrian Cotton. What do you think of them referring to Dean Ambrose as the Wild One?
Well, hey, I heard he was a wild one.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's better than Great White. There's always a worse nickname, so.
I hate to say at the result of sounding like Heyman, I prefer Lunatic Fringe.
Of course you do.
Lunatic Fringe isn't even like a nickname. It's just like a adjective.
It is, but I don't know. I just like the way it worked with his name. Like, it just made sense to me, even though grammatically it doesn't.
All right, Matt Hardman wants to know, what are your thoughts on the new John Cena look for the movie The Nest?
Ha
One of you guys said it best on our little pre-show, which was John Cena should never get tattoos.
Oh, yep. He looks like a creator wrestler with the tattoo. Was it the opacity?
Yeah.
Turned like way down so it doesn't mesh in correctly. And it also looks like the creator wrestler where you size the tattoo, like the flames on the wrist are just like so perfectly aligned, like a creator wrestler. And then he has a neck tattoo on his no neck, which is really strange.
His extra face.
Yeah.
He got a neck tattoo on his chin.
I could see you twice. 4 times, actually.
God.
What movie is this for?
The Nest.
Oh, yeah, you did say that. I'm sorry.
I don't know anything about it, and I'm not looking it up.
The Flock? I prefer The Nest.
Oy. All right. Next question here. Dan Dahl wants to know, if you were in charge of the $20 million budget cut, what would you axe?
John Cena. That would put you in a surplus. Money-wise, for about a week.
I honestly think the stupidest thing that they did was cut the production crew bus, because I've been hearing what that's been doing to people, how it's pretty much you have to get to the arena, set it up, take it down as soon as the show's over. Now you have to drive yourself to the next arena, and you pretty much have to start setting up as soon as you get there. So they're basically expecting people to work 2 days on no sleep. And that's just not a good option. It's going to cause a lot of rift in the production crew, and it's probably going to lead to production crew members leaving, which is going to hurt them because one of their strongest things is their production.
I think it should go with option C. Brock Lesnar, and he just sets up everything.
Well, was it really necessary to shoot off pyro at the beginning of main event? Because I don't think so.
You know, and people will say things like, they shouldn't pay Brock Lesnar so much money, and that would be the first thing I would disagree with. Brock Lesnar is now, like, on a level above everybody else, and you need him.
He's an attraction.
I would work on cutting down higher contracts, but it would be contracts of people who don't appear that often. Big Show, Rey Mysterio. Cut their guaranteed deals down and let them just live off their merch sales. I mean, Rey's still making bank off of his merchandise sales. So does he really need to be paid that much money when you're not going to use him for anything?
But he's not cashing any of those checks.
Yeah. So I like how it's always like, we're going to cut the little guys, you know, the lower card guys, the guys who are making the least amount of money to save money, instead of worrying about cutting people who aren't doing anything for you. David Otunga's still under contract. Why the hell didn't they cut him?
His own wife is like, stop.
And, you know, maybe they should go do some of those super shows again. Instead of having... Maybe they should tape SmackDown before Raw or SmackDown after Raw.
She says stop, and he's like, oh, you really care about me. She's like, no, you're just that bad.
Well, no, think about this as a road expense. What if they did all their show tapings at one big giant show? It might sound like a big cluster, and for a live crowd that could be excessive. But then again,
Yeah, I
do you
mean,
really
they did
need that
everything
third?
at once? That's like a 8-hour show.
Yeah. But do you really, really, really need that extra hour of Raw?
Do
I
they
don't
really
know.
need main
I
event
don't think we
superstars?
do. I don't think we need a wrestling show every night of the week.
I remember when like it used to be like, oh man, I wish there was wrestling every night of the week.
Yeah.
And you want to go back and hit yourself?
And now
They don't
there
need-
is wrestling every night of the week. You're like, I am watching these 2 shows, and that is it.
They could get rid of superstars altogether now. They've got main event to showcase.
I think Superstars still like airs on TV in like 2 markets.
Yeah, well. They should do more international stuff, too. They get tons of revenue from international
Yeah,
stuff.
remember like they would do an episode of Raw in Japan, for crying out loud.
Yeah, and they get so much revenue from that. So there are lots of little things they can cut, and some bigger things, but certain stuff I think is just dumb to cut. And being a guy who's actually worked in production before, cutting the one time your guys get to sleep is not going to bode well for your production crew. And because that's like the biggest strength you have, I wouldn't mess with it.
The biggest strength you've always had.
Yeah. And here's a
For
legitimate
30
question.
years.
Why don't they just do commercials on the network? They should have been doing that from the get-go.
From the Geico.
I
I
mean,
was
they-
expecting commercials, and I was pleasantly surprised. And I am even more surprised that it's been 5 months now, and there still hasn't been like commercials.
Yeah, but that would be a good solution.
That is revenue. That's free money.
Instead of, having to run the exact same promo the entire show, you just run commercial spots.
You mean like seeing the William Regal has lizards video for the 20th time?
Yeah, right? We've now listened to Pat eat live.
Yoink. That was delicious. I totally thought I hit the button on my microphone, but I didn't. So if anyone wants to know what I'm eating, because it probably sounds delicious to you, it's just baby carrots and a big old tub of hummus.
Too bad people eating never sounds like a good thing.
So, I was going to say words about that, but now I forgot.
All right. Matt Hardman wants to know if we see Racist Vince's new favorite stable going anywhere. I assume he means the Nation of Mid-Carders.
I think so. I
Not
think.
when Mark Henry joins them in a couple weeks.
Oh no! He's like the Black Big Show, the kiss of death,
The other kiss of death, yeah.
the brown sugar of death.
Well, Xavier Woods has already proven that he's a better talker than a worker, and Biggie Langston has proven that he needs other people around him to look decent, and Kofi Kingston has proven that he needs to do something other than what he's been doing for the past 6-7 years. So I like where this is going.
They need to be militant. They need to be the new nation. Seriously, if they're going to do this, go all the way.
I wouldn't take the militant approach to it. I kind of like how Xavier Woods is trying to take the intellectual approach to it. 'Cause that makes it
Any
different.
means necessary.
Wow.
Damn!
Somebody just let the dogs out by the pool.
Wow.
All right. Adrian Cotton wants to know, if
That
you
dog
had
was
to
smart
guess,
about black people.
if you had to guess, why do you suppose wrestling,
Well trained.
with primarily WWE, is placed under a microscope? 1 minute it's mindless, fake, and stupid, but the second they even hint at something controversial, the media swarms all over it. And that's a really good point. Everybody ignores everything wrestling does until they do something controversial, and then it's like, oh, now we have to bring it down.
Because we already act like it doesn't exist, because it's so beneath us. So that when it proves itself to be beneath us, we have to show you that it's beneath us.
Yeah, it's a very stupid mindset, and it really does make you wonder why they don't just ignore the Lana comments, considering they're ignoring everything else anyway. I think that pretty much sums it up.
A Russian person, a fake, well, like, fake, real, fake, right, real, fake,
A
Russian
real
person,
fake Russian.
a real fake Russian person said recent events during a pay-per-view. Oh my god!
Yeah, but when Triple H told Booker T to get him a towel, nobody was flipping out over that.
She said the words recent events.
I think
He's
it's just,
obviously talking about LeBron going back to Cleveland.
I think it just proves how overly sensitized our society is right now.
I mean, you had to read into what she said.
Yeah, to even come up with anything. And
So
I
that
think
tells me that you're thinking about the plane crash.
right. And my whole thing is that I think they're stupid for catering into that and doing a retract statement because now it's just like we can't do anything controversial anymore.
And that's what we're PG.
You can give CM Punk a live microphone and let him say anything he wants. And that's okay. But something that's obviously scripted is not.
Well,
So-
did you notice that they conveniently ended the CM Punk thing as soon as he was going to
Rip on Vince, yeah.
rip on Vince and the anti-bullying campaign?
Yeah, and they're just like, nah, he's done.
That's when we'll turn it off.
Which is funny, from what I understand, they were actually pretty satisfied with that promo, but they were just like, you shouldn't have talked about Vince. We had to cut off your mic then. So there is a limit. We're going to give you a mic. We're going to let you say whatever you want, but you can't talk about Vince.
Just to
Well,
work.
you know, I'm supposed to talk about how I hate working here sometimes, and yeah, Vince is kind of the number one thing about working here.
The last question we got for this week is from Taylor Chadwick. What to you was the most perfect match you've ever seen in any company, and it could be indie or big time, doesn't matter. Just the most perfect match you've ever seen.
Wow.
I know, it's a kind of a loaded question, but it's a
Yeah,
good one to end with.
that's a tough on the spot question. I know what you're gonna say.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you got to see Kane and Big Show this week.
Oh, yeah.
Lucky duck.
They spent half the match on the mat, I'm not even kidding.
Because they were exhausted,
There
or
were rest holds a minute and a half into the match.
Into a dark match.
well, that's because
Into a dark
Kane's
match.
that's because Kane's with Randy so much now.
Jericho Michaels at WrestleMania 19.
Damn, that's a good one.
I mean, you guys know that my favorite match is the Iron Man match at 12, but as far as like a true perfect match, I got to go with that one. It told a great story. It had a perfect finish.
It told a great story, not a perfect story.
Jeez. Oh, I'm sorry. Was this question only supposed to be about Kurt Hennig matches?
Context matters.
I saw a Bret Hart Mr. Perfect match that I believe was on a main event that was pretty damn perfect.
I'm gonna go ahead and say another Shawn Michaels match, and that was the match with Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 21.
That was a damn good match, too.
The ass hump match.
Royal Rumble 2003, Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit.
When Angle wanted to German suplex everybody off the apron all the time. So it ended up being, I'm trying to hump you. Like, every match had that spot in it. Just like, yeah, wrestling isn't gay.
But yeah, that's another good one.
To come up with an indie match, I'd have to go back and like re-review all the indie matches I've seen.
Come up with an indie match, they'd have to be relevant to me first.
Well, there was Quack versus Claudio at the TPI. In what year, I don't remember. But the finish was Quack went for a Hurricane Rana and Claudio turned it into a powerbomb.
I forget which ROH show it was at, but it was Danielson versus Brent Albright, and that was a really, really good match.
Versus Gunner.
I do remember that. That was a really good match.
Oh yeah, there was another Gunner Scott. That's right. I wonder if they're related.
He's going to be
first
the next
names.
Benoit, everybody. The next Benoit.
Well, fortunately, he wasn't.
Fortunately, unfortunately, he wasn't.
I attended an ROH show one time that had a Punk Danielson match, and that was exactly what you think it was.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Overrated.
Irrelevant. Yeah, on the spot it is kind of tough to come up with these questions, but maybe we can come up with some for next week and do a little special where we reveal our most perfect matches.
Okay.
Otherwise, that was your show.
All right, everybody. So 62 is coming up next week. We'll see you guys for that. Remember, we got stuff coming on the page. We want to start doing Raw reactions, SmackDown reactions, all that on the page instead of the group, and maybe bring people from the group over to that. See if we get some more listener responses for people who don't necessarily belong. So we're going to try that. And, yeah, more stuff coming. Take care. Have a great week. We'll see you guys next week. Yeah, spike your hair. Woo, woo, woo. Follow us on Twitter at Club Kayfabe. You know it. Plug, 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 plug. Not butt plug. Bye, everybody.
Later.
Bye.
And I didn't open the right window. There we go. End.